Welcome to One-on-One, the Daily Items weekly digital program featuring Susquehanna Valley newsmakers interviewed by Daily Item reporters. Today's guest is the Pennsylvania State Shotgun Association President Mike Schuler, interviewed by John Zaktansky.
The Sunbury Motor Company.
Austin Martin, Kia Elite Sales Consultant, Maranatha Christian School.
Amber Wren, Certified Hyundai and Lincoln Sales Consultant, Selinsgrove Area High School.
Ian Chakosky, Certified Ford Sales Professional, Mount Carmel and Shamokin area.
Christopher Stengline, Ford Certified Sales Consultant, Selinsgrove Area High School.
Tom Mertz, fourth generation owner, Sunbury Motor Company, Shikellamy High School.
A tradition of trust since 1915.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm John Zaktansky, and we are on the grounds of the Pennsylvania State Trap Shoot in Elysburg, Pennsylvania. And joining us today is Mike Schuler, President of the Pennsylvania State Shotgunning Association.
That's correct, John. Great to be here today with you.
Oh, great. Thanks for having us down. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff going on. It's a busy week for you guys for the state shoot, but then you also have this huge announcement that you guys have that you're kind of throwing out there as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first things first, I'm a statistics nerd. I love stats.
Okay.
And you guys have a bunch of cool stats as far as the amount of shooters you have coming in and where they come from and the amount of shots taken. What are some of the cool stats that kind of let people know how big this really is?
Well, this organization's been around for over 100 years, so obviously it has a rich history. But it's funny you mentioned the stats. The first thing I do every morning when I come down to the office is to see how many shooters were here compared to prior years and everything. And this past weekend, actually, in a couple of the events, we set records as back to 2001 when we started the current format. The state event is basically a 9-day event. The first weekend is called the Colonial Classic. Here we are on a Tuesday. It's part of preliminary days, and then the actual 5-day core of the state shoot starts on Wednesday through Sunday. Our busiest days are Friday and Saturday. Friday we have the big Krigoff Challenge where we have a drawing and then a shoot-off for a very nice and beautiful Krigoff gun. And Saturday is the singles championship. On those days, we'll have an excess of 1,200 shooters here, plus family members and guests. So you could have 4,000 to 5,000 people on the grounds.
Wow, that's great. And then each day you have multiple events, kind of different shoots going on each day leading up through the weekend?
Yeah, typically each day we'll have 3 events comprising the 3 different types of registered trap shooting. When I say registered, it's registered with the Amateur Trap Shooting Association, and those would be singles, targets thrown from the 16-yard line, handicap, which are further back, and then doubles, which is 2 at a time. So today's format, for instance, is 100 singles followed by 100 handicap and then 200 doubles at the end of the day.
Wow. So. And you mentioned the Krigoff Challenge. I know Friday's a popular day. What makes the Krigoff Challenge so popular for shooters and for spectators?
Well, it's kind of an interesting way that we do the shoot-off. Obviously, your top shooters have their trophies and awards that we would use for each event, but the Krigoff Challenge, we pull 2 numbers at random between 0 and 9, and if your score ends in that number, you are in the shoot-off. So, for example, if we drew a 2 and a 7, you could have had a 97 or a 92 or an 87 or 82, and you're eligible for the shoot-offs. And you know, because you're drawing 2 out of 10 or 20%, we'll have over 250 shooters that are eligible to be in this. We shorten the program a little. It's only 10 targets, but basically if you break all 10, you go to the next level and continue on.
That's exciting. That's cool. And the grand prize is?
It's a Krigoff combination gun, valued well over $20,000 with a custom case and everything else. So it is a prized possession, if you will, if you're the winner.
Sure, that's cool. And where is that gun donated? Where do you guys get that from?
Yeah, it's donated by Krigoff International. Dieter Krigoff, the owner of Krigoff International, is typically here for the presentation along with his wife and some of his staff members and everything. And it's great because if we have a nice day and a nice evening, we try to get it done as early as we can. And the hillside out here overlooking the shoot-off traps is packed with people.
So good. And another hot spot, it seems like at the state shoot every year, is Vendors Row. The vendors that you guys have, can you speak some as far as this year, what vendors are here, and what kind of things can people check out?
Oh, yeah, it's a great place to come, even if you're not into registered trap shooting, you're a clay target shooting, you're a hunter, whatever. We have people vending everything from new guns. We have a half a dozen people that are selling all types of shotguns. Primarily, it's not rifles or pistols, it's that, but there's also people here selling components for reloading, shells, jewelry, a lot of wearables that you'd need, vests and hats and pouches and those kinds of things that you'd use in the shooting sports.
Okay.
And we welcome everybody to come and walk the grounds. We have a lot of people that just don't even shoot you, just come down to do some of their shopping and visit.
Good. Well, Father's Day is almost here, so
there
it's a
you
great
go.
time for
There you go. Yeah, drop the hint. I could use a new vest or something, right?
That's great. Good. And then for people who come from spectators or from the area, what recommendations or what would you say to them before they come out? Is there anything they need to know? Or
everybody's welcome to come on the grounds. I tell them that on the weekend it's going to be pretty busy, and you'll have to look around to get a place to park, perhaps. But other than that, there's food service here and everything else you'd need to come and spend a nice day, and they're welcome to watch the shooters on the line and walk around the grounds. It's open to the public. So.
Good. And then I mentioned in the beginning, announcement-wise, you guys have plans for the Northeast Shooting Complex, I guess is the proposed name for it?
Yes, that's what it's called, the Northeast Shooting Complex. Just as a little bit of history, we've shared the grounds with the Valley Gun and Country Club for years. There were some questions about an old lease and who owns what. We got those all amicably resolved with the Valley Gun and Country Club, so we now have full title and access to all the facilities. So currently all we're doing is throwing registered targets 23 days a year, and we've got this facility with camping and everything else, so we want to broaden it to other types of clay target shooting, primarily sporting clays and skeet. And we have already engaged civil engineers to do all the permitting and stuff that we need. We're having a big meeting here Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock that's open to everybody, all the shooters on the ground, to explain where we're at with it, what it'll be when we're done, and what our goals are. While clay registered trap shooting is still very popular, the other types of sports, the sporting clays and the skeet, are gaining in popularity. So we want to be basically a year-round facility open to everybody.
That sounds great.
And on top of the registered shooting, that's not going away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this will be in addition to. It'll allow us to do corporate and charity events and other fundraising types of opportunities.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Mike to talk more about this complex and to kind of go from there.
The Sunbury Motor Company.
Austin Martin, Kia Elite Sales Consultant, Maranatha Christian School.
Amber Wren, Certified Hyundai and Lincoln Sales Consultant, Seals Bavaria High School.
John Zaktansky, Certified Ford Sales Professional, Mount Carmel and Shamokin area.
Christopher Stengline, Ford Certified Sales Consultant, Seals Bavaria High School.
Tom Mertz, fourth generation owner, Sunbury Motor Company, Shikellamy High School.
A tradition of trust since 1915.
Welcome back to One-on-One. I'm here with Mike Schuler, president of the Pennsylvania State Shotgunning Association, and we were talking about the complex, a year-round complex opportunity for shooters and different sporting shotgunning classes, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But what kind of? I heard the complex was a $4 million proposed complex in different phases. Like what's the plans out?
Yeah, we the total expansion and renovation remodeling that we're going through, it is in 7 different phases. Total estimated cost is $4 million. The first phase that we're really going to be embarking on is setting up the sporting clays facility, and I can't list them all by memory, but yeah, there's a lot of details, including existing buildings and infrastructure and stuff, because this building that we're in now was designed for seasonal use, summer use, so we got to make it a 4-season building with heat and AC and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be a lot of renovations that will bring in to the area a lot of shooters that, while they may shoot trap occasionally, they may be gravitating to skeet or sporting clays, and that's what they're interested in. So
Sure.
it is a major step forward to getting from a few days to being open basically year round.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned skeet and sporting clay, and obviously trap shooting. What's the difference for people who don't shoot?
Well, I'll try to do it as painlessly as I can. That the skeet trap shooting, there's a trap machine and the targets come out, and the trap machine oscillates, so you can't predict where they're going to go, and then you can shoot it from different distances or doubles. In skeet shooting, there's a high house and a low house and a half a circle, and you basically walk around the half circle shooting targets from each of 8 different positions. Sporting clays, I think, has best been described as golf with a shotgun. That there are different stations that present different types of targets, and you move from station to station and shoot those targets, and the targets vary in size and how they fly. There's even targets that are to resemble rabbits that roll along the ground, and it's much more like field conditions if you were a hunter and stuff, and that's, I think, the real attraction of that type of event.
Good. With the complex, what kind of a timeline do you guys realistically expect as far as getting into some of the early phases and construction?
Well, we're as I said, we have civil engineers working on the necessary permits now. Assuming that goes smoothly, we hope to be turning dirt in September of this year, of 2019. And to put in the sporting clays course is primarily putting in a roadway around it, and then having the trap machines put in small houses and that kind of stuff. So if all goes well, we could be looking at it as early as maybe late fall, October, November, to be firing the first shots.
Wow, that's great. And the $4 million, how much of that do you guys have raised, and how are you trying to get the extra funds needed to make that happen?
Well, we're raising it in 3 ways, both from individual donations, corporate donations with naming opportunities. You can imagine a company like Krigoff or other people that have been involved with the shooting sports wanting to have their name on a building or have their name on part of the facility. It'd be much like a baseball stadium that becomes New Era Field or whatever, the Jacobs Field or whatever. Pick one. They all have names on it. PNC Park.
Yep.
They all have names. That's another way we'll do it. Plus, we have applied for some public money that's out there under the state calls it an RCAP for recreational capital expenditures, and we're hoping to get favorable determination on that actually by the end of June.
Sure.
So,
well, one statistic from we talked about with the state shoot was the 1.3 million targets fired upon or shot out this week, and you had mentioned beforehand that the targets are made locally. Can you tell us some about that?
Yeah. We buy our targets from White Flyer, which is down in Shamokin. And White Flyer is to my best of my knowledge, the biggest manufacturer of clay targets in the United States. And we've used their targets. They're great targets for a long time. The shooters like them, and it's great that we can get them from a factory that's only 8 miles down the road and don't have to do a lot of trucking with them. So
cool. And then we talked about Wednesday, the meeting for the complex. What time again, and where is that going to be located at?
The meeting is going to be at 6 p.m. this Wednesday, the 12th. It will be here in the Hall of Fame room on the state grounds. Shooters are welcome, public's welcome, and basically we want to try to explain where we are at with the complex, why we're doing it, and some expected timelines on it. And that's just one of the things that go on here. There's things going on every night, from a nostalgia shoot on Wednesday night to the Krigoff Challenge shoot on Friday night. And then every evening, the way that ties in the events are broken, shoot-offs basically, you put the competitors that broke the same scores out and have them shoot until one of them prevails, with a higher score than the other ones.
That's cool. And then where can people get more information about the complex and get involved? And I'm assuming you guys are welcoming anyone that wants to kind of get involved.
Absolutely. I mean, as far as the Pennsylvania State Shotgunning, they can go to our website, which is pennsylvaniastateshotgunning.org. They can go on the Amateur Trap Association website to get general information about registered trap shooting. The National Skeet Shooting Foundation has their own website. The National Sporting Clays Association has their website that gives you broader overall information on those shooting.
Good. And then once again, Mike, thank you for joining us this week. Beautiful weather today. I'm guessing weather plays a huge part in these type of shoots. And,
yeah, well, we were talking earlier, I came in because I was out kind of checking. We have a strong north headwind, if you will, and we try to set the targets to at least compensate some for those winds. Not always successfully, because I don't know, anybody can predict exactly when it's going to blow or how hard it's going to blow. But yeah, picture the target as a little frisbee and you're throwing it into the wind. It makes it a little more challenging.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, thanks again for joining us this week on One-on-One, and come and check out the State Trap Shoot.
Thanks for watching One-on-One. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for another edition.